Barnaby Jones. Starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather. With guest stars Julie Summers, Jim McMullen, John McLeod. Special guest star Andrew Prime. Tonight's episode, Dark Homecoming.
Well, well, well.
What are you doing in here?
Sorry, didn't mean to ruffle Miss Songbird's feathers.
Look, Kathy, I don't think we have anything to say to each other.
Well, maybe you don't, but I sure do. I saw you out there.
What are you talking about?
Cliff, I saw the way you were singing to him out there. It's not going to do you any good.
I think Cliff is old enough to speak for himself. I mean, I don't know how things stand between you two, but...
Well, we're going to be married. That's how things stand. And I don't intend to let the ex, Mrs. Baxter, change it. You understand me?
Look, Kathy, like I said, that's up to Cliff to decide. Now, if you don't mind, I have to...
Wait a minute. You don't get off that easy.
Look, Kathy, I asked you to leave nicely. Now, get out.
Don't touch me. I don't care who you are.
Hey, Ruby, will you hurry up? They're taking the room apart out there.
Splash some water on her face and get her out of here.
Ruby, we've got trouble.
Yeah, well, she started it. Coming in here and picking a fight. She even came at me with the scissors.
Ruby, she's dead.
Dead? She can't be dead. Kathy. Kathy.
You must have hit her pretty hard.
No. No.
We're in a mess of trouble here.
Shine, there's got to be something we can do.
It's too late for that now, Ruby. Don't you understand? She's dead. You better get out here, Ruby, before they riot. She's coming.
I can't go out there.
You've got to. Now, listen to me. It's no good you getting mixed up in this. You let me take care of it.
I didn't mean to hurt her.
I know. Now, look at me. Look at me. You're gonna go out there, and you're gonna let old Shine take care of this. Now, I'll handle it. Come on. Come on. Kathy. Hey, Kathy. Come on. Wake up. Come on.
How do you feel?
Oh, wow.
Well, now it's just a little bump.
Little, my head's killing me.
Nah, a scratch. Come on, we gotta get you out of here.
What are you doing, Shine?
Come on, out you go.
Oh, Shine, leave me alone.
A little fresh air, make you a new girl. Now, come on, come on. That's it.
Boy, oh boy, wait till I get my hands on that Ruby. Am I gonna fix her wagon?
Take it easy. You got off lucky.
Lucky. She could have killed me.
I told Ruby she did.
You what?
Ruby thinks she killed you. She really does. Now, you wanted revenge. Just think what that's gonna do to her.
Oh, what happens when she sees me?
No reason she has to see you. Not for a while, at least. I can put you up in L.A. You always wanted to live in the big city.
I'd leave her in open field with Cliff. Not on your life.
Look, she's already got it. Ruby came back this time to stay. But if she thinks she killed you, I can scare her into going back on the road with me.
Now, what happens when she finds out we fooled her?
Who knows? By that time, Ruby and I might even be married. Anyway, I'll have what I want, and you can have what you want. You've been after me for a long time about a career. Now I can connect you with the right people, change your name, get your top vocal coach. With luck, you might even be bigger than Ruby one day.
You're slick, Shine. Too slick for me. You'd end up tricking me the same way you're trying to trick Ruby right now. I don't trust you, Shine. Take me back.
I can't do that. Not after what I told Ruby.
Take me back or I'll walk back.
Kathy, you're going to Los Angeles.
And a pup's gonna have kittens. Goodbye, Shine.
Mr. Hopkins, did Kathy ever take off like this before?
Not this long. Not without telling me anyway.
What'd the sheriff say?
Well, I guess I better tell it to you straight, Mr. Jones. Kathy is somewhat of a reputation around here. George said he'd look into it, but I know he pretty well figures she'll show up on her own.
But you don't think so?
I pray she will. She didn't take a car, didn't pack her bags. It's not like Kathy. The one thing she's particular about, that's her clothes.
Sold out my set. Yeah, the joint was jammed, spilling out into the street. It was fantastic. Ruby's never been better. No, we're in Porter City right now, Ruby's old hometown. We're just passing through.
Sean, can't you call him back?
I'll call you back, Will. Yeah. Hey. Hey, now, you just relax. We're gonna be back on the road in a couple of days, and everything's gonna be fine.
Ruby, Cliff's here.
What does Baxter want?
Something about property.
May you tell him I'll talk to him on the patio.
Right.
Ruby, why don't you let me handle this?
No, I can handle it.
Cliff? Hello? Freddie! Hey, we've been expecting your call.
You're looking great.
Looking mighty good yourself, Ruby.
Freddie, you're my main man. I had you penciled in all along. You shouldn't worry.
Shine, can you please take that inside?
Hold on a minute, Freddie.
Thanks. I never had a chance to thank you for the flowers.
Good to have you back again, Ruby. Plan on staying a while this time?
No, Shine's firming up the schedule right now.
Well, I sold the rest of the yearlings and figure we might have a favorite at Ruidosa this year.
Cliff, that's nice. I'm really glad for you.
The horses are still half yours, you know. That's what I came to talk to you about. You never did return the settlement papers, and we got an offer on the river frontage.
Oh, well, go ahead, sell it. I won't give you any trouble.
Well, I can't sell it until I get you to sign the papers. I need your autograph.
You know, it's funny, I still have the plans for the summer house we're going to build there.
Listen, I don't have to sell it, you know. I can...
Look, I'll see that you get the papers this afternoon.
Ruby, what is it? What's the matter?
Nothing. I guess it's just coming home blues or something. Seems like everything here happened 100 years ago.
No, it was 8 months ago. 8 months, 1 week, 3 days. And I'm the guy who can never remember our wedding anniversary.
I guess a divorce is easier to remember.
I figured you were happier now. I read about you all the time in the magazines. You're a big star.
Oh, yeah, a big star. How about you, Cliff? How's it been with you?
Oh, same old waiting game, you know. Wait for the mares to fall, the kids to fill out, and then there's the auctions. Mainly, I wait for a woman to come to her senses.
Last night, there's something. Cliff.
Look, I hate to interrupt, but I've still got Freddie on the other line. He wants to know, is Yuma set for Friday night?
No, tell him I've got to think about it and we'll let him know later.
Listen, you guys are busy. I'll talk to you later, Ruby.
What's the matter with you, Ruby? We've got to get out of here.
I told you, I've got to think about it.
for Cliff Baxter.
Cliff Baxter?
Hey, he was here a minute ago. Here he is over by the gelding.
Thanks. Ah. Well, muscle chest. Looks like a winner.
Sounds like you know your horses.
I like his haunches. Looks like he can get out of a starting gate. That's important at 400 yards.
You a buyer?
No, I'm a private investigator. Barnaby Jones. Mr. Baxter, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Kathy Lou Hopkins. Her father hired me.
How'd you know I was out here?
Well, I went by your place, and I saw your stables and your short track out back, and I read about the sale and put two and two together, and it came out quarter horse.
That's a sample of your work. You ought to find her in no time.
And you're not worried about her?
She's a free spirit. She'll turn up.
You didn't go looking for her the other night at the Silver Spur when she disappeared?
I figured she went home with somebody else, probably Wayne Gibson.
Wayne Gibson, who's he?
Well, he's an old boyfriend of hers. He was there, and from the looks he was giving me, I figured he wasn't too happy.
Did he have a reason?
Me and Kathy? No, not hardly.
That's not the word around town.
Well, it's a small town, Mr. Jones. People jump to conclusions. There's nothing serious between us. Red, this is the one I want. You can make out a bill of sale.
I'm sorry, he's sold.
Sold?
Yeah, not more than 5 minutes ago.
Cliff, he's yours. I missed your birthday, so many happy returns.
That was real sweet of you, Ruby. This is Mr. Jones, Ruby Deems.
This is an unexpected pleasure, Miss Deems. I'm a big fan of yours.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Jones is a private investigator. He's here looking for Kathy. I imagine Dwight's getting a little nervous.
I didn't know she was missing.
Oh, yes, she's been missing for 4 days. Did you know Kathy?
Oh, well, everybody knows Kathy, but I'm afraid I haven't seen her. Well, Cliff, I better be going now. Nice meeting you, Mr. Jones.
Thanks again, Ruby. Quite a woman.
Quite a present from an ex-wife. Most divorces I know about, all the husband gets is a horse laugh. You got the whole horse.
I can see you did your homework.
Well, I'm a fan of Miss Deems, and I'm sorry to hear about the two of you breaking up.
It's all right. It's just a case of Ruby wanting a career, me wanting a full-time wife. If you're wondering, Mr. Jones, it had nothing to do with me and Kathy.
Well, I was wondering, but that's part of my job. And I guess I better get the rest of it attended to. Thank you, Mr. Baxter.
It's all right.
Shine, where's Kathy?
What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb with me. Where is she?
Why don't you try Cliff Baxter?
I already checked these places. No sign of her. Now, look, the other night when we were all at the club, I went outside for a cigarette right in the middle of Ruby's last set. I saw you sneaking off with Kathy.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yes, I did.
Wayne, everyone knows that my only interest is in Ruby. Kathy and I just went off to have a business meeting.
Oh, business, huh? So I'm going to tell you something. Nobody's seen her for 5 days. Now I hear there's a private detective down here looking for her. So you either tell me where I can find Kathy, or I'm going to go right to the sheriff.
Shine, can I speak to you before you go?
Yeah, just a minute, Ruby.
Of course, maybe the one I ought to be talking to is Ruby.
Wait a minute. Look, I didn't want this to get around, but there was some trouble that night.
What kind of trouble?
Kathy and Ruby had words over Cliff Baxter. They got into a fight. Now, Kathy's staying in L.A. with some friends. We figured it'd be better for everyone all around if she just kind of kept out of sight until Ruby left town, just in case there were some reporters nosing around for a story.
What's the phone number? I want to talk to her.
I'll save you some time. Ruby and I are leaving tomorrow. Kathy's coming back tonight. You see, I promised Kathy some money for her trouble.
You wouldn't lie to me.
What for? Look, I'll call you when she comes in. Are you still working at the vet's office?
Yeah, I'll be there around 9 o'clock.
Well, fine, I'll call you.
Okay.
Afternoon.
Can I trouble you for a glass of cold milk?
Fresh out. Sorry.
Something to be sorry about.
But I'm the culprit. I just polished off the last carton. Not much call for it here, so the boss says I can have all I can drink. Just so long as I don't moo at the customers. Can I get you something else?
No, thanks. What I really want is some information.
What about?
Were you working the night of Ruby Deem's homecoming?
That was a big night. I wouldn't have missed it. She always plays here when she's in town, because this is where she started. Just listen to that sweet voice. Ruby never lost touch. You know, she may be a star and all that, but she's never forgot her home folk. She's as plain as hash browns.
Do you know Kathy Lou Hopkins?
Sure, we were drum majorettes together.
Was she here that night?
Oh, yeah, but I didn't wait on her table. Pity, that Cliff Baxter, ooh, he's something else.
Do you happen to recall when she left the table that night?
Oh, Kathy's antsy. She's always moving. She zipped out right after Ruby's first set.
You know where she went?
Backstage. Make a phone call, I guess.
Could I take a look?
Sure. Come on. See, here's the phone. Oh, we gotta keep that locked. Souvenir hunters would take the paint right off the wall.
You think Kathy may have left the club by this door that night?
She could have. I never did see her come back to the table.
How about Wayne Gibson?
Yeah, how about that, Wayne? Cute, huh? Kathy has all the luck.
Did you notice when he left the club?
He left by himself, right after Kathy, as a matter of fact.
Well, thank you, young lady. You've been a big help.
Hey, next time you're in, we'll have milk. I'll see to it.
All right, what's the deal? How come we're meeting here at Baxter's place?
You know, Kathy, she's got her mind set on seeing Cliff before she does anything else.
Where is Kathy?
She's out back.
All right, let's go. Yeah, well, I think that's really stupid, Kathy, coming over here, because Cliff Baxter doesn't care anything about her.
I'm glad we agree. The last thing I want is more trouble between her and Ruby. Now, look, I'd like to get her out of here before Ruby and Cliff come back to the club.
Well, don't worry. I'm taking Kathy with me this time.
Fine. Kathy? Hey, Kathy. There you are.
Look, I got home around midnight, maybe a little later. Ruby and I stopped off for a drink after our last show.
Coroner puts him dead at just about that time.
Hey, George, you know I didn't kill Wayne.
Could this be Wayne Gibson?
That's right, you know him?
Oh, what I've seen him. He was in the house the other day when I came out to see Mr. Baxter. He scooted off in such a hurry I couldn't get to talk to him.
Cliff, you want to tell me what he was hanging around here for?
I'm afraid Wayne's the only one that could answer that.
Well, you can bet that Kathy Hopkins was involved. Everybody knows that he was carrying a burn about you two.
No, there was no reason.
That's what you say, but that doesn't explain how he wound up dead all of a sudden. You know, Cliff, you want to tell me about it up front? If you two had a fight and he wound up off that balcony, it could be self-defense.
I already told you I didn't even see Wayne till I found him here this morning.
You know, it seems strange.
What's that?
Well, if it happened the way you say, that Baxter and Gibson had a tussle and Gibson took a hit her over the balcony, why would Baxter leave him lying there for anybody to find?
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Well, now, wait a minute. Cliff admits he was drinking last night.
Ruby and I had a few drinks, that's all.
Well, you can be sure of one thing. When there's a missing girl involved, alcohol and perfume don't mix. Isn't that right, Mr. Jones?
Well, that's a pretty good theory, Sheriff, but I learned a long time ago not to jump to conclusions. Could be dangerous. You could break a foot, especially if you got one stuck in your mouth.
All right, Cliff, I'm not going to run you in, but you stick around, okay?
Sure, George.
See you guys.
Dean?
Jones. Hello. I don't believe you know my manager, Shine Stanfield.
Hello, Mr. Jones.
Pleasure. I understand that your end of the business is sometimes as important as a good voice.
Yes, I couldn't do without Shine. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, I just wanted to ask you a few questions, Miss Deems. Do you recall seeing Kathy Lou Hopkins backstage the night of your homecoming?
No. Should I have?
Well, the waitress told me that she might have gone back to make a phone call, and I thought maybe...
I saw her. She came backstage, but she didn't make a call. She went right out the back door.
I wonder why.
Ducking out on Cliff Baxter, I'd imagine.
That seems strange. I understood that she was stuck on him.
Well, Cliff Baxter isn't her only beau. Wouldn't be the first time Kathy played one against the other.
Well, if you're referring to Wayne Gibson, I don't think he'll be giving us any information.
Yeah, we got a call about him earlier. That looks kind of bad for Cliff.
Miss Deems, you were out with Cliff last night. Had he been drinking?
Yes. Yes, but he wasn't drunk. And he didn't kill Wayne, Mr. Jones.
The way I read things between you two, I don't think he did either.
Is that detective analysis, Mr. Jones?
Oh, just cracker barrel logic. Kathy's been missing 5 days now. It seems to me if Cliff had been upset enough to kill somebody over her, he would have bristled when she walked out on him.
I never thought of it quite that way. Look, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, but we got to get packing here. We got a date in Tucson tomorrow. Ruby?
Yes, we'd better.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hold you up. Miss Deems, don't worry too much about what happened around here the last few days. We'll have the answer shortly.
You have a lead, then?
You might say. If Baxter didn't kill Wayne Gibson, it was the act of a person in panic, and that always leaves a trail.
Couldn't it have been an accident?
Hardly. There was a struggle on Baxter's veranda, and when we find out who Gibson was struggling with, we may have a lot of answers.
Is that more cracker barrel logic, Mr. Jones?
Plus a pinch of instinct. Have a good trip.
I shouldn't let you do this, Mr. Jones.
Well, if nobody ever took a chance, nothing ever get done.
We really better go now.
Well, I'm finished anyway. Thanks, Billy. You've helped me a lot.
You're welcome.
Oh, just a minute.
Hey, what's going on out there? Oh, it's you, Mr. Jones.
What is this, some kind of a deadbeat alarm system so people can't walk out without paying their checks?
You guessed it.
Is it always on?
During business hours.
Did it ring the night of Ruby's homecoming?
No.
Thanks. long-distance call. Area code 213-555-6793. Barnaby Jones. Hi, Betty.
Barnaby, I'd just about given up hope of ever hearing your voice again. How are things going?
Well, if you like the sound of my voice, we got a real sweet voice up here. Ruby Deems, you know her?
Oh, know of her. Fantastic country and western.
You ever want to meet her? I got an inside track.
Oh, would I? All right, Barnaby, what do you need?
My comparison microscope, some slides, a small bottle of nail lacquer, a bottle of alcohol ether mix, some Canada balsam, and your own sweet smile.
Well, if traffic isn't too heavy, I'll be there in about an hour.
I'll be at the Dwight Hopkins farm, Route 70 on the west side of town.
All right, I'll be there. Bye.
The hair on the left is one that I took out of Kathy's hairbrush. You see how thin the root is, as if it had come out naturally. The one on the right is one I took off the window in the dressing room. You see how fat the root is, sort of bulbous, as though it had been pulled out.
Look identical to me in every characteristic.
Except the root. I believe that the hair I took off the window in the dressing room is Kathy's, just as these prints that I took off her mirror are identical with the prints that I took off the window in the dressing room.
Well, then, Kathy was in the dressing room the night of Ruby's homecoming?
I think there's very little doubt of that. Question is, why did Shine and Ruby go to such great lengths to lie about it?
They can't very well deny evidence like this.
Depends on what they're trying to hide. These prints from the window had a little blood on them.
Think Kathy's dead?
I think they're the only ones who can tell us. And I think we ought to go pay them a visit.
We were so happy that...
Hey, Ruby, what's the matter?
I'm leaving, Cliff. This evening.
Hey, come on now. Last night we both decided we were going to give it another chance.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but we'll have to forget about last night.
Does it have anything to do with Wayne, or you think something's going on between me and Kathy?
No. It has nothing to do with you. I love you. Seeing you again has made me know just how much, but there's nothing I can do.
Look, Ruby, I'm not going to let you walk out of my life again.
Cliff, I have to go.
Not without a better explanation than that. Look, we might not get another chance again. Come on, what is it? Nothing can be so terrible.
Oh, it is. It is. Please, just let me go.
Oh, hi. Miss Deems' aunt said I might find Ruby here. It'll just take a few minutes. This is my daughter-in-law, Betty Jones.
Hello. Yeah, she's here. Come on in.
Thank you.
Ruby, you remember Mr. Jones?
Miss Deems, this is my daughter-in-law, Betty Jones.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Dean.
Nice meeting you. How are you, Mr. Jones?
Just fine. Miss Deems, are you aware that Kathy Hopkins was in your dressing room the night she disappeared?
I don't understand. I told you.
I know, but before you tell me again, I think that you ought to know that I have proof that she was there.
Ruby, what is it?
She was there, wasn't she?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us exactly what happened?
Kathy came backstage during my change. She was angry about Cliff and me, and I asked her to leave, but she wouldn't. And suddenly we were fighting, and I hit her. I hit her. She had the scissors, and I hit her with a bottle, and I killed her.
Ruby, you don't have to say any more. Now we get a lawyer.
Mr. Baxter, I'm not a policeman.
No, Cliff, please. I want it out. I want it out. Oh, thank God it's over.
Not quite, Miss Deems. What did you do with the body?
It's in the old Sawhill pond.
You put it there?
Yes.
You lifted up her body and took it through the window, put it in the car.
Yes.
And I understand that when you came back on stage, you had changed your costume. Now, where did you get the time to do all of that?
I can't lie anymore. I can't. Shine did it for me, but he only did it to protect me.
It was very good of Shine, very loyal. Was he there that whole time?
No, he came in after I hit Kathy.
How did you know she was dead?
She just lay there. And then Shine came in and he checked her and he told me. I don't see.
It's all right, Ruby. These are latent fingerprints of Kathy's that I removed from the window in your dressing room. Little blood on them, probably from when you hit her.
What are you talking about?
Dead people don't leave fingerprints. Kathy was alive when she went through the window. They're hers. I checked.
I don't understand. You mean I didn't kill Kathy?
Not in your dressing room, you didn't.
You mean Kathy's still alive? She's still alive?
I wish I could believe that. Mr. Baxter, do you have any grappling gear?
Yeah, there's a grappling hook out in the stable.
What is it?
Give me 15 minutes head start and call the sheriff. Tell him to meet me at the Sawhill Pond. I've been expecting you, Shine.
You know, I think that pond's all fished out.
I don't think so. Matter of fact, I think the fish I want's still around here. When I find Kathy's body, I'll have the evidence that she didn't die from a blow on the head, that Ruby didn't kill her. That's why you followed me, isn't it?
You lose something, Jones?
Get an ambulance, and you better bring out a crew. I think they'll find Kathy Hopkins' body in there. I don't think that there's really too much to worry about here, Cliff. There'll have to be a hearing. But in my opinion, the only thing that Ruby is guilty of is bad judgment.
What about Shine?
He's already confessed to the 2 murders, and I think that'll satisfy the state.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Hopkins.
Mr. Jones told me the whole story. I don't blame you, Ruby.
I guess the problem is I blame myself. If I hadn't trusted Shine...
Nothing wrong with accepting your share of the blame, as long as you don't give yourself a life sentence.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. For everything.
Mind if I go with her, George?
No, not if she doesn't.
Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Patrick O'Neill, Joan Van Ark, Charles Aidman. Tonight's episode, The Challenge.
I'm not leaving till you talk to me.
You mean the way you talk to Nancy?
She had to know.
Sure. Sure. The wife's always got to know if the husband's fooling around. Otherwise, it's no fun.
I told Nancy that I'm in love with you and that you love me. I thought I was telling the truth.
Maybe you were, Kathy. But it doesn't matter now, don't you see? I mean, the condominiums, the business, every cent of it Nancy's. Without her, I've got nothing.
We can live without her money.
Sorry, Kath, but I can't.
I have to go. They booked me on an early flight in the morning. Arnold, if you change your mind, The ad agency's putting us up at the Luana Shores Hotel in Honolulu.
Oh, Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, you're a mean man, kicking out a sweet lady like that. Not to mention standing up a terrific guy like me. You missed our appointment today.
My wife knows all about Kathy and me. She walked out this morning. I'm through paying your blackmail, Kathy.
It's not that easy, Mr. Moore.
Damn it, friend, the wallet is empty. You've got no more hold on me. No more Wednesday appointments, no more $500 a week to keep your mouth closed. See, now it's my turn to squeeze you. I'm gonna go to the police, and when they've heard what I have to tell, the hell that you put me through will be nothing compared to what they'll do to you.
Oh, now, Mr. Moore, you're getting yourself all worked up. It could be we can work something out.
There is nothing left to work out.
I'd think twice about that, Mr. Moore.
Cabot, you know what I'd do if I were you? I'd start running. Because I'm going to get the first laugh I've had in months, seeing you behind bars.
Fred, you made a big mistake.
But Arnold's bathing trunks were still wet, Mr. Jones. Did you ever hear of a man taking a swim just before putting an end to his life?
Well, now, Mrs. Moore, according to this police report, that may have been exactly what he did.
Arnold would never commit suicide, Mr. Jones. He enjoyed living too much. He loved all the good things too much to take his own life.
Most of us do. The trouble is, most of us are like me. We can't afford them all.
When my father died, he saw to it that I could, Mr. Jones. I loved my husband. I encouraged his tastes. Good food, good wine.
Sounds like you think you may have spoiled him.
Unfortunately, Arnold had another taste for what he called good company. He wasn't the most faithful of husbands.
You sure of that?
I suspected it for some time. He even called in the Raider Detective Agency to find out once and for all.
What'd they say?
Well, as a matter of fact, the agent on the case gave Arnold a clean bill of health. But he was wrong. The day Arnold died, a woman called me. She didn't give her name, but she confirmed everything that I had suspected all along.
I want this data comparison coded for the last 3 years, will you? Barnaby!
Quite a little place you got here.
Oh, it's about time you came to see it. Well, come on. What do you think?
Well, you're doing a lot better than you were when you were a forensic chemistry student in my class. You got more machinery in here than they moved into my Uncle Ezra's dairy farm after Aunt Jean got tired of hand milking.
Well, Raider offers total services, from delivering payrolls to investigating murder. I hope you're finally going to take me up on my offer to join us.
No, I'm working on a case. About 3 months ago, you did a surveillance for a Mrs. Arnold Moore. What I would like to see is the investigative log and also the man who worked on it, if possible.
Sure. Investigator, Arnold Moore, surveillance. No problem, no. The man you want's one of our best, Frank Cabot.
Sour ball, Mr. Jones?
Oh, thank you very kindly.
Make yourself comfortable.
There you go.
Let's try my swinging seat.
Very interesting, but I think I'll just sit here. You don't mind?
Barnaby, I've got to run. You sure you won't reconsider my offer and join up?
No, thanks. I always like to do my own milking.
Milking? You a farmer, Mr. Jones?
Well, I left the farm some time ago. I'm a private investigator.
Retired?
Not yet.
I knew nostalgia was the big thing these days. I hadn't realized it'd come this far.
Well, it takes more than age to make an antique, Mr. Cabot. I'm looking for information about Arnold Moore.
Oh, you're the one. Yeah, Moore's insurance company told me his wife had hired a private investigator to check on his death. She doesn't think it was suicide.
And you were hired to prove that it was?
Case was kicked over to me about an hour ago. You're right. His policy doesn't pay if it was suicide. I was just going over his investigation file.
Say, I'd like to have a look at that.
You're welcome to it. It's really good, quite thorough.
Well, Mrs. Moore seems to feel that you overlooked one thing. Mr. Moore had a girlfriend.
I don't make mistakes on basics like that. You read the file. Moore wasn't involved with anybody.
Well, Ms. Moore says he was. The woman even called her.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Moore could be mistaken.
Well, her husband didn't seem to think so. As a matter of fact, he admitted it.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy, it looks like I blew one. But, you know, it could be that Moore was out of touch with his girlfriend when I was following him.
That may be. But I figure if I can find his girlfriend, she might be able to throw some light on what happened the night he died.
You know, Mr. Jones, if you're correct in this, I've got my professional standing to redeem. Tell you what, why don't I wrap this thing up for both of us?
Well, I appreciate that very much, Mr. Cabot, but I don't think it'd be fair to my client.
Well, I don't care if they call it an accident or suicide, but there's no point in both of us spinning our wheels over the same ground. Besides, since you're such a good friend of the management, I won't even send you a bill.
Well, that's very kind of you, Mr. Cabot, but I think I'll just keep putting one foot in front of the other and see where it leads me.
Well, that's up to you, but don't forget, better man always wins.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Cabot. I'll keep that in mind.
Mr. Stevenson? Mr. Stevenson?
Oh, what is it, Sheila?
Well, I just wanted to say goodnight. I'm going home now. Unless you need me for anything.
No, go ahead. Have a nice evening.
Oh, thanks.
Stevenson?
I beg your pardon?
Frank Cabot, Rated Detective Agency. We've been hired to look into some discrepancies of Vanguard Investments business affairs.
Well, that's impossible. I never made such a decision.
Well, it seems that you're the one man your board of directors didn't ask. They're a little upset. The ripoff comes to over $100,000.
Mr. Cabot, this is hardly the place to be talking about such
Oh,
matters.
we could go back to your office. That's the way you juggled all your accounts, isn't it?
What do you mean juggling? I never did any juggling.
Mr. Stevenson, you can be honest with me. These cases are always the same. A woman gambling.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure your superiors would consider those stocks a gamble, Mr. Stevenson. A very poor one.
How did you know about those stocks? Now look, I'm not a rich man. When those stocks pay off, there'll be enough to return the money and still ensure my future.
I'm sorry, Mr. Stevenson. I know how you must feel, but I have to make that report. Now, believe me, it's not easy having to ruin good people just because they've made one mistake.
Mr. Cabot, this report of yours, when is it due?
Tomorrow morning, I'm afraid.
But it could be delayed.
Oh, now, Mr. Stevenson, I think I see what you're getting at, but now you're asking me to put my future on the line.
Perhaps if there was some extra money in it for you?
Well, I don't want you to think there's anybody who couldn't use extra money.
I can make it very attractive. All you have to do is hold up that report.
Look, you're a nice guy. That's not right that all the nice guys in the world have to take in the neck. Why don't we talk tomorrow? We can work out the details by then.
Well, we can. I'm sure that we can.
Well, until then, I don't want you to worry about a thing, Mr. Stevens. Okay.
Wait, Mr. Cabot. I'm not unskilled. I felt certain that my transactions were absolutely untraceable. How did you find out?
Well, there's one thing about a good detective, Mr. Stevenson. He's always got his ways.
Hooked.
You're good. You're really good. We've got it made.
Well, not quite.
And when you're all finished, bring me everything you find in the filter trap.
Oh, sure. Well, Mr. Jones, up early, huh?
Well, I don't like to let much time go by. You're kind of up with the chickens yourself.
Yeah, well, I got this strange rooster with built-in AM, FM radio, stereo, tape deck, the whole thing. Wakes me up every morning, crowing the news. So, did you find anything important while time was jogging by?
Depends on what you consider important. Take a look over here.
Is this where Moore went over?
According to where the police found his body. Now, why would a man bent on killing himself pick a place like this where he had to fight his way through a jungle?
If you ever decide to go over, you want a nice clear runway, is that it?
Seems to me this would be a more likely spot.
I don't want to puncture any pet theories, but according to psychiatrists I talked to, this might be too easy.
How do you mean?
Well, a man committing suicide is usually trying to prove something. Now, 9 times out of 10, he'll choose the most difficult way. Then he's got more time to change his mind if he's afraid.
You might have a point.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah.
I'm just about finished, but I think I did get everything that was in that filter trap, just like you asked for.
Oh, thank you very much. This may be very helpful.
Well, they say that the depths of the sea hold many secrets. I didn't know that applied to swimming pools.
Well, when you don't know what you're looking for, it doesn't hurt to look everywhere.
Yeah, if you say so. Why don't you let me take that down to our lab? They'll do the analysis for you in no time.
Well, I don't want to inconvenience you. My lab may be old-fashioned, but we get the work done. I'll tell you what. I'll send you a copy of the report. And since you're such a good friend of the management, I won't even send you a bill.
Here you go.
$1,000?
All you have to do to earn it is to hold up that report of yours.
Well, how do I explain these inaccurate figures in the company's accounts?
You give me enough time, and I'll take care of those. Believe me, those stocks will pay off when the market turns around.
Okay, Mr. Stevenson, you made yourself a deal.
Thank you, Mr. Cabot. You won't regret this.
I'm sure I won't. See you next week.
What was that, Mr. Cabot?
Next week. Same time, same place. Now, $1,000 is a great deal of money in some circles, but you'll have to admit it's a little inadequate when you consider the risk.
It's all I can afford. I have a family to take care of.
So do I. You took more than 100,000, and you're going to more than double that.
Not till the stocks go up. I can't touch them till then.
Mr. S., you're a smart man. Now, who's to know if you dip your hand in the till again? You might even get better at it. Practice makes perfect.
You're a blackmailer. You're nothing but a blackmailer.
I guess that's just another shame you'll have to live down. Starting another man on the road to crime. I'll regard this check as a down payment. You can pay the rest in weekly installments. Say $500 each.
If I refuse?
Oh, well, I'm afraid I'd have to make my report very prompt and very damaging. Now, neither one of us wants that, do we?
I should have recognized you for the thief you are from the start.
Now, don't be sulky. See you in 7 days. Spoil your mood or anything, but may I ask what you're doing here? I mean, are you deliberately trying to blow your cover?
I waited until he left. He never saw me. I called Kathy Sayers' agent this morning. She's finished her modeling assignment and she'll be flying into L.A. tonight.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. That's terrific, but I didn't ask you to do that.
I was just trying to please you.
Sheila, you're an inside operative. Your job is to get in where I put you and to learn what I need to know. And the way to please me is to do just what I tell you. Now, no more volunteering, you understand?
Yes.
Made out of fired clay, and you see that little smudge down at this end?
Mm-hmm. Just barely.
Well, I did some scraping of that and ran a test and turned out to be ash.
Then what you have me staring at is probably just a broken piece of ashtray?
And there are about 3 or 4 more just like it up on the roof next to the pool, and that's where this one came from.
What does it prove?
Maybe nothing. Depends on how it was broken and when.
Hello, Kathy. How'd you like Hawaii?
Who are you and how did you get in here?
Detective, Miss Sayers. I'd like to talk to you about Arnold Moore.
Arnold? Is something wrong?
Mr. Moore's dead, Miss Sayers. Happened a few days ago.
Oh, no. Oh.
Sorry, Miss Sayers. I know this must come as a great shock.
I've been away on a fashion layout. How did it happen?
Violently. That's why I wanted to talk to you. You were one of Moore's secrets. Anyone know he was seeing you?
Well, there was Carl Hastings. We ran into him once at a restaurant. But Carl was a good friend. He pretended not to see us. In fact, I don't even think he got a good look at me.
Anyone else? Anyone who wasn't such a friend who might have wanted to hurt him?
There was a man. Arnold told me about him. He was blackmailing Arnold.
You never saw this man?
No, but Arnold did mention his name. Cahill, no. Cabot, that's it, Frank Cabot.
Miss Sayers, I think you better come with me.
Yes, anything I can do to help. By the way, how did you know about me? Excuse me, officer, can I see your ID again?
So that's what happened to the ashtray.
Mr. McKay, do you recall exactly when you noticed there was one missing?
Oh, I recall, Mr. Jones, I recall. See, part of my job's buying replacements for anything that gets broken. Now, the ashtray was gone the morning after what happened to Mr. Moore.
You sure about that?
Yes, sir. See, the night before, I'd just finished cleaning the pool area when Mr. Moore came out to swim. Now, when I left, all the ashtrays were there.
And the next morning, there was one missing?
Yes, sir. But there were no broken pieces I would have noticed.
Well, now, if the police sealed off the rooftop within 15 minutes of Mr. Moore's fall, that would mean that whoever picked up the broken pieces of the ashtray would almost have to have been there when he fell. Did you notice any of the other tenants on the roof?
No, sir. It's really too chilly for most of our people, except for Mr. Moore.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. McKay. Ms. Moore, you didn't ever see the woman who called you, did you?
No. I don't know now if I'm glad or very sorry.
Did your husband have any other, people who were close to him?
There was one person, an old school friend he brought into the business, Carl Hastings. Why?
We're looking for a witness. Special kind of a witness who could explain how your husband could jump to his death and at the same time manage to dispose of a broken ashtray. Mr. Hastings? What a slice you got there. Great on dog legs. I had an uncle who used to practice his rhythm by swinging a horseshoe tied to a rope. He used to kick himself in the stern a lot, but it cured his slice.
I'll try to remember that. Are you some kind of pro?
Pro detective. Your office said I might find you here. My name is Barnaby Jones. Nancy Moore hired me to look into the death of her husband.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I have nothing to say.
Mr. Hastings, you were Arnold Moore's closest friend. I'm hoping that he told you something about that girlfriend of his.
Arnold's dead, Mr. Jones. Why can't we leave it at that?
His wife needs to know how he died, and I think she's entitled to that, don't you?
Arnold Moore was the best friend I ever had. He gave me a chance, a job, when nobody else would.
Well, he doesn't sound like the kind of a man who would object to the truth. Besides, if you cleared your mind, it might improve your golf swing.
Okay, Mr. Jones. I have been going through Arnold's business accounts. I found a series of weekly withdrawals, $500 each, stretching back 3 months now.
Now, what do you suppose you did with all that money?
I don't know. It was listed under the heading of out-of-pocket expenses. I can only tell you, Mr. Jones, our pockets never had business expenses like that.
The girlfriend?
I knew Arnold was seeing a young lady. If he were alive, I'd never say anything, you understand? But now, what do I tell Nancy?
Hastings? Excuse me, Frank Cabot. Morning, Jones. You're really doing quite well. Those feet of yours moving you right along.
Well, apparently, you're not doing too badly yourself.
Matter of fact, I'm not. How well would you say you knew Moore's girlfriend, Mr. Hastings?
I only saw her once.
That was that time at the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Isn't this the girl?
I can't be sure. It was 4 months ago. Lights were dim. I was across the room.
Well, take your time. Study her carefully.
The hair color's right. She has that willowy look.
That's fine, Mr. Hastings. You've been quite a help. Oh, I'm sorry. I take it you haven't found the mystery lady yet.
No, Mr. Cabot, and I must admit I'm impressed.
No, please. I owe it all to a certain kindly stranger. After you poked holes in my old report, I thought I'd better fill them in.
They do say a man learns by his mistakes.
Well, that's something we can all remember. Now, don't let these little setbacks get you down, Jonesy. Always better days ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings.
Operator, this is mobile LG1 5699. Give me 555-8442.
Mr. Stevenson's office.
All right, lady, now's the time you can really start pleasing me. How you doing, Jones?
Just fine. I figured that you wouldn't mind if I joined you.
Jones, if I did, I'd lost you about 5 miles back.
I'm much obliged, Mr. Cabot. You've given an old hound the thrill of the chase.
My pleasure.
Just who is it that we're not going to find here anyway?
See for yourself.
Is there something I can do for you two gentlemen?
Sheila Bonner?
Yes.
Private investigators?
What terrible crime have I committed?
We just want to ask you a few questions.
All right, come on in. I'm not really feeling very well, but if it's important enough for the two of you to come here.
I realize it's difficult when you've lost a loved one.
Does this have to do with Arnold?
No one wants to bring up any pain, Miss Bonner, but we have to have information about Mr. Moore.
The only thing that matters is that he's gone, and I'm alone.
Miss Bonner, nothing can change that.
No, not now. But if I hadn't called her, if Arnold and I hadn't argued...
You argued?
Yes, the night he died. I went to see him up at the pool. He was furious at me for having called his wife. I suppose I was just as angry. But why couldn't he see that I'd done it for us?
That's how you left it?
No, not quite. When Arnold said I'd ruined his life, I told him if that was the way he felt about it, then it was over between us. I was finished. I didn't mean it, but...
But what?
Arnold pushed me. I hit a table and knocked over an ashtray. Would you believe it? I actually cleaned up the pieces.
Why did you bother at a time like that?
Well, it's a woman's trick, doing something silly like that. It took the edge off the fight. And it gave Arnold a chance to apologize.
Where did you put the broken pieces?
I dumped them into the trash bin on my way out.
You say Mr. Moore apologized?
Yes. Only I told him to forget it. I was finished. I hoped he'd come after me, but he didn't.
I just have one more question. You have some very nice pieces in here. Did you buy them yourself?
Arnold enjoyed giving me nice things. I guess I just didn't have whatever it takes to turn them down.
Did you also pay the rent?
You said just one question, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Miss Bonner. Sorry we had to come by. Sorry about everything. Like I said, Jonesy, you should have let me wrap this up for you.
You think this is all?
Well, Arnold Moore wakes up one morning with everything. By that same night, he's got nothing at all. Not even his mistress. Wouldn't you say it's a good motive for suicide?
Moore's insurance company will be very happy, Mr. Cabot. I'd say you've got your motive all right.
Barnaby, I'm sorry I'm late. Any luck so far?
You know, Betty, I could have sworn this was a murder.
Well, maybe these can help. Arnold Moore's business records. And, well, this is everything that I could find on Sheila Bonner.
Arnold Moore and Sheila Bonner. You know, listening to that young lady today was just like reading Cabot's surveillance log. Everything's so pat.
She did have all the answers.
Yeah, no place to check them out. I can't figure out all these withdrawals.
Well, prices are going up, Barnaby. Even with girlfriends.
But $500 a week, and as regular as clockwork.
What is it?
Hey, maybe this clockwork has some kind of a calendar in it. When was it that Mrs. Moore received that report from Cabot?
It was 3 months ago, on the 3rd.
That's the same week Arnold Moore made his first withdrawal. Now, we know from Hastings that Moore had been seeing that girl for over 4 months.
I get it. The $500 withdrawals didn't begin until...
3 months ago. The very same week that Cabot gave Moore a clean bill of health with his wife.
You think Moore paid Cabot to keep quiet about the girlfriend?
That would sure explain these strange entries in Cabot's log.
You think he doctored that?
It fits. And so does something else.
What?
Once the girlfriend blew the whistle by calling the wife, Moore had nothing else to hide.
Then he would have no reason to keep paying Cabot.
Exactly. And Cabot is not the type who becomes a good loser or wants any witnesses around.
What about all the things that Sheila Bonner told you?
Sheila Bonner. I haven't quite figured out that young lady. According to her employment record, she worked in a lot of places in a very short time.
She once worked for one of those temporary office help companies. Maybe she got the habit.
Where did they place her?
That list is back here. Raider Detective Agency. Barnaby, she worked there.
All right, Barnaby. Someone by the name of Sheila Bonner was working here as a temporary secretary last year. But we employ temporaries all the time.
Did you know that that girl has shown up working at half the businesses Cabot investigated for you since then?
They probably worked well together. As you know, a few of our investigators recruit people to work as inside operatives, pay them out of their own pockets.
What's this case Cabot's working on now? Vanguard Investments Incorporated.
Oh, their board was afraid the controller was getting greedy, and they didn't want to frighten the stockholders with an audit, so they hired us. Why?
Did you know that Sheila Bonner's working for them?
Look, Barnaby, all I know is, according to Cabot, that Stevenson, the controller, is clean.
Are you a betting man?
No.
Good, because I wouldn't bet on Stevenson's honesty.
What about Cabot's?
Well, the way I feel about him is, I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell him I was here.
Barnaby? Oh, no. All I want to know, really.
Hang on to your questions, because I'm going to have some answers very shortly.
Here's that report. Raider's supposed to leave some stuff on his desk for me.
Mr. Stevenson's office.
Put Stevenson on.
Frank, what's the matter?
This isn't a question and answer session, Sheila. Now put him on. Yes?
I told you, Mr. Jones, Mr. Stevenson's left for the day.
Forgive me, Miss Bonner, but after the story you told me yesterday, I find it hard to believe what you're telling me today.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're almost as good at this as your friend Cabot. What did he do, cut you in on a percentage?
Mr. Jones, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to call a security guard.
It's not just blackmail now, Miss Bonner. If I'm right, you could be charged as an accessory to a murder.
I told you, I don't know anything about Mr. Cabot or Mr. Moore.
You ought to at least know where your boss went.
I'm afraid Mr. Stevenson can't be reached.
It's a shame I couldn't reach you, Miss Bonner. It's a real shame.
Judy, will you please take Mr. Stevenson's calls?
All right, Cabot, what is it now? What do you want? Oh, nothing. I'm letting you off the hook, Mr. Stevenson.
What about your report?
Well, I'm going to help you out. We just have to figure it out exactly how to keep your accounts from conflicting with my report. Come on, let's take a walk.
best cover-up would be to blame the whole thing on a bookkeeping error. Say that the money that's gone never really existed. Now, if your report could back that up.
Stevenson? That's as far as we go.
Well, what are you doing?
Sorry. I have a delicate situation. You're a weak man. You broke for me, you'd cave in for anybody else.
Cabot, please.
Frank, no!
What are you doing here?
Jones figured it out. It's too late.
Cabot, freeze! Stupid! All of you stupid! Seems I was wrong for once, Jonesy. Better man doesn't win after all.
Let's go, Cap.